What do you do when the food in your food processor looks like this? Oh my goodness. Well, hi everyone. It's the 30th of May and I'm out here with Gilligan. And I was making worm food the other day, and this food processor, I'll just start by saying it is dedicated to worm food. So don't think I'm going to put human food in here, but these are our food scraps. And I left them in the food processor. I got distracted, came back today, and oh my goodness. So Gilligan is the lucky system to get it. And I just want to say thank you to Landon, my husband, for making my path to Gilligan accessible for me. So I can now come broadside on Gilligan. It makes my access so much better, and I'm not reliant on him. I think it's really important if you are hampered in any way by a disability, and I don't like the word disability, that your abilities require you to be creative. Let me put it that way. I think it's really important that you do whatever you can to make things as accessible as you can so that you're not just an observer to your world, that you can actually participate. That's me. Get off my soapbox, but I'm all into accessibility. All right, so I'll just take some of these layers of dryish paper and the burlap off, and it's nice because I can just flip the lid up there now, and there may very well be worms in this paper that I'm flipping, especially as I get closer to the bin, and the paper and corrugated cardboard is more humid. You see there are worms hanging out right there. So they may very well be in there. I should give you a profile shot before I do anything else. So there's the profile shot. Going down, Gilligan, going down again. This is a tub that I've obviously used to transport or add worms. It looks empty, just a few castings. What I do with these is I take them to the hose, rinse them off, throw the castings in the garden. Nothing gets wasted. All right. So here's Gilligan. Remember, we added a bunch of moss that Landon cleaned off the roof. That was exactly, well, it was a month and a week, so 5 weeks ago. So let's check on the moss. We'll check on the worms, and I'll give them that moldy food. Good thing I'm outside putting that food anywhere. All right, I saw a slug in here. That's the fact of life when you use leaves in a worm bin. I think you're gonna get slugs. So until these castings really turn the corner and are light, fluffy castings that I see in my other systems, I use this little fork tool, or I use my spaghetti lifter that's over there. Again, retired out of my kitchen, no longer used for human food. And I, because I've got manure and leaves, and here's some little moss scraps, but Landon dumped a lot of moss in here. I'm not seeing moss. We also put a lot of eggshell in here as buffer. Gilligan, you are doing a great job. The worms are active. Our temperatures are warming, so they are happy, happy campers. Happy campers, Gilligan. Happy worms. So I'm going to try to dig a Grand Canyon here. So digging a big canyon. There's some more moss that I see right there that was buried a bit. Oh, a neighbor didn't like me doing that. Oh, there's a cocoon. Do you see that? So Gilligan's worms have been busy. Yay. And I'm just digging down a little bit. Tap, tap to get the stuck moss off the fork. There's the moss. Let's see if the worms are into the moss. Well, I saw worms right in the vicinity, but I could have moved them up with my tool there. I don't see the worms into these. You would think that they love the little spongy, moist sections of moss. Anyway, I'm trying to dig a trench, like I said, so that I can bury this moldy food. Oh, here's an avocado shell. Let's see who's hanging out in that. You know, avocado shells are great homes for worms. I'm doing this one-handed. Yep, we're getting worms coming out. There they are. They are. Why are you disturbing us? There they go. Yeah, there they go. Oh, and we have springtails. Oh, that was a double avocado shell. They were two together. And so look at the inside is coated with springtails. All good, all composting critters. Okay, I have no idea how I'm going to get this moldy food out with one hand, but never say never. I'll take the blade out. Okay, there's the blade. Hopefully it'll stay up there and won't come down and scratch me or cut a worm. That would be horrible. All right, let me now turn this over. Hopefully, dump, dump, dump. Some came out, yay. I brought this food processor specific spatula out. That is to clean out this food processor flat along the edges. So I've stirred up a little bit more of the material. Turn it over, dump, dump, dump. A little bit more came out. This was going to be a feeding, obviously, that I froze. So this material has not been frozen, but this is an outdoor system. So, you know, if it gets fungus gnats or fruit flies, which I'm sure on my counter, even though the lid was on the food processor the whole time, I'm sure the fungus gnats found their way in. If it has larvae in there, oh, come on. That's getting pretty good. I am okay with that. All right, so this is pretty rinsed out. I'll just give the rest to a tower system. I just have to figure out what I'm going to do with this. I will put it, the place most people with mobility scooters use is the little space down underneath my legs. All right, so this is pretty grungy material. I just want to give another tip that we've been doing. You know how they still find eggshells in ancient cooking sites because, you know, they don't break down. You know, if you don't powder them, they're not going to break down and be the buffer that you think they are. And I found another tip was if you really super cook them so that they are like toasty. So we eat a lot of fish. So when I'm warming up the oven for fish, which is like 4 1/4, sometimes 450, or if I'm broiling even, I will pop my eggshells in and give them a super, you know, few minutes at this ultra high heat rather than just put them in my oven when I was, you know, finished using the oven. I don't like to use electricity to toast up my eggshells that I'm not going to be using anyway. So what that means is that the powder that I make out of the retired coffee grinder, just for egg powder now, is browner. That's not just from the eggshells, that is from the toastiness. Now there is grit in that food, I can guarantee you, but look at, I'm giving it a ton more of this burnt grit because, well, just because I want to make sure that that moldy food doesn't introduce any pH adjustment. So I will I'll put some of these avocado shells and other things that can get broken down. Oh, get off the fork, get off the fork. I'm one-handing it. Come on, there we are. I'll put the avocado shells in here and maybe turn them over so the worms can get yummy food in the avocado shells as well. I'm gonna, if I see any bits of moss and I can flick them into this feeding area, I will. There's some of my Eat My Shorts debris that I took out of the indoor bin when I took some worms out of Eat My Shorts. So Gilligan is a compilation. Look at these castings starting to accumulate. This is great, Gilligan. Now, I was really ambitious on how quickly we were going to get a harvest of worm castings out of Gilligan in the beginning, but I have learned to be patient, and you know, we are not in a rush for these castings. I have several coolers worth of castings, styrofoam coolers worth of castings, good to go. So we have enough for our garden needs right now. And so I am patiently waiting for this to finish. I don't want to give an estimate because I tend to be overly ambitious with estimates. All right, so I will close up Gilligan now, and hopefully we'll check back and see if that causes the worms to congregate. These worms are generally distributed all through this material. We have manure as a basis for this bedding, so they can eat anywhere they go. So doing migration and pocket feeding with Gilligan is really tough because the worms like hanging out in the manure as much as they like food scraps, but maybe that moldy food will entice them a bit sooner. So I will come back hopefully in less than a week, maybe, or a week, and we will see what they did with that moldy food. And there's remnants of the moss. So the pH buffer for that isn't going to hurt as well. All right, everyone, that's it for Gilligan today. Bye for now.